The following is a production of ProDubShuns.com.
Rock and roll live.
Hello and welcome to Walk and Roll Live. I'm Doug Vincent, along with Eric Aguilar. I am a polio survivor, crutch user for years, and transitioned into a wheelchair user over the last 20 years. Eric, what's your story?
What's happening, friends? My name is Eric Aguilar. I have cerebral palsy, I'm hard of hearing in my left ear, and I'm a walking stick user. What's going on with you, Doug?
Not much, just, here doing this big old podcast show. Hey, anything exciting happened this past week?
Ooh, let me tell you about last Monday or the Monday before that when I participated in the Fleet Week Expo in San Pedro and Long Beach with the Coast Guard Auxiliary. I had the golden opportunity to tour the USS Carl Vinson, and there was 5 sets of stairs going up and down the ship. And by the time I got to the top of the ship, I was banging on my chest like I was King Kong, and I was I was going nuts though by the time I got to the top.
Did you go to the front of the boat and say, "I'm the king of the world"? Did you do that?
Yeah.
No, you didn't do that.
King of the world. But it looked like I was in Top Gun, and the sea breeze was wonderful.
Awesome. I'm trying to think, what did I do this past week? Let me look at a calendar. Talk amongst yourselves. I need a little reminder. I feel like it was very, very, well, we had Memorial Day. That was about it. And then, I go to the Veterans Village on Thursday, which that's every Thursday. That's fun. And then Friday, I had coffee with my military dog handler friends, which is always fun to hear their stories. I think we ended up being there for like 2.5 hours or so, and they tell me the wildest stories. One of the gentlemen is, John, who's on a couple of weeks ago, is one, and then another one, he's like, I think 80, 81, I think. I mean, he looks like he's 60, gets around like he's 60, but, and he, beyond his military service, he was in customs for a while, and a radar guy in customs. And oh my gosh, the stories he tells from, different parts of the world where he was, and he was in the thick of a lot of things. It's incredible. And he's sharp as a tack, and he tells all these stories. He knows every detail from 30, 40 years ago. So amazing to hang out with those guys. And then we had the Hot Rod Cook-Off, which started, probably getting close to 15 years ago now. Just a bunch of hot rod guys that I hang out with, and they do this thing every year where they go up to Lytle Creek, and they have cooking teams. So they buy in, and they use all that money to buy the meat, and then they're issued the meat at a certain time on Saturday morning, and they're given a few hours to barbecue it and bring it back, and they have a whole competition, and they have trophies, beautiful trophies that they hand out, handmade, with one of the guys in the club, I think, does woodworking, and he comes up with these beautiful trophies. And then they do something a little different each year, like they've done a drink contest. They've done, this year they added a chili contest, and they do just a free, what do you call it? Just cook's choice, they call it. They, so they can cook anything they want. So it's anything from, hors d'oeuvres to, barbecued stuff or desserts or any kind of thing. Yeah. So we have a good time telling stories and eating, there's so much food. It's amazing. It's up in Lytle Creek. Did I mention that? So it's just beautiful along the creek, a campground there. So yeah, that was this weekend. So had a good time. So, we'll talk a little bit later about what we got coming up this week. Today, we have an interview with Rochelle Weissman. We'll talk a little bit about it in the interview, how I kind of got reconnected with her. She had a part in my past, so we'll talk a little bit about that. She is visually impaired, but that has not impaired her at all. She's got a great story, and we'll kind of dive into that here in just a little bit. And first, we're going to get a word from Aguilar Professional Training.
Introducing Aguilar Professional Training, where we believe your greatest asset is your team. Investing in their development, knowledge, and happiness is crucial for the success and growth of your business. To reach new heights, you need to hire smart, talented individuals and empower them to work in their areas of strength and passion. At Ugyar Professional Training, we're dedicated to helping your employees become happier, more productive, and fulfilled, because when your team thrives, your business thrives. We can help your workplace work better. We offer customized workshops and one-on-one coaching to help teams and leaders build trust and have better communication. We also offer strategic planning sessions, among other services. Elevate your team with Ugyar Professional Training.
Walk and Roll Live, disability stories, heard in 30 countries around the world and in your earbuds.
Hey everybody, this is Rochelle Weissman. I am from Rancho Mirage, California, and I'm visually impaired.
Welcome, Rochelle Weissman. Eric is here as well. How are you doing, Eric?
Yeah. Pretty good.
Good. And we have a little history, right, Rochelle? Just kind of, we're getting reconnected through a mutual friend. My brother and I, we call these, maybe we're not the only ones, but we call them small world stories, because these things come up and you realize really how truly small the world can be. And I have a friend that now, well, you know him. He substituted for Eric when he was off getting his different educational things going and all that. Forrest Kelly, and he was at a radio station with me years ago. Well, he lives out in the desert now, and just through the things that he does, he connected with Rochelle, and then we found out that Rochelle used to listen to us on the radio and would call us, and we'd talk from time to time. And I have, there's a lot of people that call, but I have a vague memory of that. So welcome. Nice to reconnect, Rochelle.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Absolutely. Thank you. That is very nice of you to say. And so generally what we do here is we like to, kind of start at the beginning, really. Like where are you from? You're in the desert now, but is that where you were born and raised?
No, it's actually my hometown in San Diego, California.
Oh, wow. Beautiful, beautiful place to be from, right?
Very nice area.
Yeah. So then how long were you there?
I only had lived there about a few months. I was about almost 6 months old when we moved to Los Angeles. We ended up moving to the San Bernardino Valley. Okay. And then would you go to school there? Or? I did. I went to school for some of my elementary years, actually up through third grade. I went to a school in Northridge, made some amazing friends, which to this day I still remain in contact with someone.
Nice.
I've known her for several years. She happens to be blind as well, but we're like sisters. So yes, that was amazing. Or it is amazing, I should say. And then after third grade, I ended up moving out to the Palm Springs area. Lived in Palm Desert. Finished my school years out here. Went to elementary, middle school. Graduated from Palm Desert High School. I even attended some college.
Excellent. So, and so now still there?
Yes, I'm still in the Coachella Valley, which is the Palm Springs area.
So did your vision impairment start? I mean, were you born with it? I know that just from reading some information about you, it started very early, but I didn't know if it was from birth or shortly thereafter.
It was. I was born with cataracts. And then at 2.5, I developed glaucoma, and I was treated for that for a long while up in Northern California. Some of the top specialists up there.
Oh, okay. So you spent some time up there.
I did.
Yeah.
It's like another hometown.
What age was that?
It was from 2.5 up until just as of a couple of years ago, really. Right. It's been ongoing.
So that's even pre-school years. So did you go to what we used to call when I was a kid regular school, as opposed to a special needs school?
I did. I was in regular school. However, there were some special ed classes I was in, but I was mainstreamed to regular classes at times, especially in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that was then.
So how was that experience?
It was okay, honestly. I much rather have been in regular classes. Of course, I was in some regular classes, like choir. I took regular Spanish. This was later on in high school. Before high school, I wasn't really mainstreamed. I was more in regular classes, which worked out. So I did have, I have to say, my time was harder for me in school, of course, because I didn't have perfect sight or 20/20 sight. I had it a little tougher by where they had to make accommodations for me by enlarging print on something called a CCTV.
Mm-hmm.
So I used that throughout my school years. I also learned Braille at a very young age. So I did things in Braille, but mostly visually. I had things enlarged on something that's called a CCTV, which stands for closed circuit television.
Okay, yeah.
Where I was able to magnify the print and function like everybody else would.
So the early intervention on your sight improved your sight, so you had sight early through your school years.
I did. Fortunately, yes, I was able to. I had some vision, but I did lose the sight of my left eye when I was 5, and then it was just my right eye ever since. And up until 2008, I had that sight, but then in early 2008, unfortunately, I lost the majority of my sight in my right eye. However, I still have light perception, very little motion, and very little color. And I'm one who never says never. The sky's the limit for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very
Good.
optimistic. So things that I remember visually, what they look like, that really helps as well, because I can kind of picture in my mind, in other words, I still remember what a lot of things look like.
Mm-hmm.
It really helps.
Colors, right? Yeah. So you incorporate those memories into your experience now.
Yes.
Is that a way to put it?
It is.
Yeah. So, and to circle back, through when you were going through school, were there kind of strategies that you learned, and how was it with the other kids? Sometimes kids can be unforgiving, let's say.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of rough experiences. There were some people who understood and who stuck with me and helped me, but I did have a lot of rough experiences. I had kids back then. It's weird now to say kids because we're all adults.
Yep.
I had people back then who used to make fun of me. They used to throw things at me, and it was not a good experience. Those people just didn't have any idea, or they didn't understand what it was like. And yes, it was very tough, but I didn't understand how to cope with it either then. I was very young, but as I got older, I realized, hey, this is just school. Everybody's going to grow out of this, and I dealt with it, and sure enough, that's what happened.
And for the most part, they do, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you feel like, though, it kind of prepared you a little more for adulthood?
I feel like it, yeah. I feel like it, because I'm definitely stronger now in my older years, and, I can stand up for what I feel is right or should be right. And back then, I didn't have the strength or the courage to do that.
Yeah.
But now, I definitely know how to handle it better.
Yeah, that's something that really anybody should try to strengthen in themselves, is that ability to be an advocate for yourself.
Most definitely. Some good things, though, in high school especially, I got to sing the national anthem at a couple big events. Some were wrestling. One was which they called back then, a pep rally in my senior year, I believe. And I got to sing the national anthem there, and it was a huge success. I had teachers that came up to me and said, "You're it. You're great. Keep this up."
Yeah.
And that was one big. I've always been very musical, so I always pursued music no matter what. I was in choir in high school. I had a choir teacher who kind of intimidated me. For an example, she said I couldn't be in a choir called chamber singers back then, and I was in the women's ensemble. She said I couldn't be in the chamber singers because I couldn't dance around like everyone else. To me, that didn't matter. I had the voice.
Right, yeah.
It kind of put me down, and that bothered me, but you know what? I rose above it, and I knew I was just going to do bigger and better things as time went on, and that's sure enough exactly what happened.
So are you still pursuing music?
I am. And also while I was in high school, another thing, in my freshman year, I got to sing for Bob and Dolores Hope at it was a Bob Hope Chrysler Classic Ball, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
And this was when I was a freshman. I sang cabaret, brought the house down. I met Bob and Dolores Hope after the event. Dolores Hope said I was phenomenal. She asked me, actually my dad was there with me at the time, so she asked us, what are you doing for her career? She's fantastic. So that was a great experience as well.
Oh man, that's a memory, right?
Yes, yeah. For sure.
So what are you doing these days musically?
So I put out an album a few years ago, actually several years ago. I put out an album. It's all of original music. I didn't write any of the songs, but I did collaborate. It's a 6-song EP, they call it. And it just showcases different styles of music that I can sing. It was a blast doing that. That was amazing. I recorded a song for a movie, which is also on that album. The movie was produced in Canada. It's a murder mystery. It's called The Auntie.
Mm-hmm.
And the song is called Been Down This Road Before. It won an award for the best thriller category. And it was in the third oldest film festival in the country, where Steven Spielberg and the movie No Country for Old Men won their third oldest award.
Man, I can't even imagine. You move in some pretty high circles there.
Yeah.
So is that something that's available still, or like we can find it on Spotify or something?
It was on iTunes and Amazon. I know I have some things on YouTube, but it has been on iTunes and Amazon.
Yeah. So just have to search under your name or the name of the movie, or?
Well, the album it's self-titled. It's called Rochelle.
Okay, good. Make it easy to find. All right, we'll have to go check that out.
Awesome.
And then on your ongoing care, are there still, I mean, obviously you still have checkups, I'm sure, and they monitor that. Is there any hope for any improvement?
The good thing is they are working on some things.
Mm-hmm.
They told me to stay tuned several times. They are working on some treatments and things. When they'll be ready, I'm not quite sure, but they said they are working on it for sure.
Yeah.
Technology. They're working on new technology.
Is that through the Glaucoma Institute and the Joel Stein Eye Institute?
No, this is actually up in San Francisco. There's a Glaucoma Center.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And do you volunteer or work with any groups to be an advocate or just to be a mentor or peer support?
You know, talking about volunteering, I did volunteer back in 2015. I worked at Rail Institute in my area. Talking about mentoring, yes, actually, I go back on that answer. I actually mentored people who were newly blind or visually impaired. I taught them how to use VoiceOver and Siri on their Apple devices. So I would teach them how to use JAWS, which is a screen reader, on the computer, which is actually what I use to be able to navigate the screen, to be able to get around like everyone else. So I did teach them that, and the students I taught they felt really accomplished with what I have taught, or I should say I felt accomplished with what I got to teach them, because they really learned from me, which was great. And if I can do something to really, if I can do something to make someone feel inspired or accomplished, that means the world. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you talk to us a little bit about the technology that's available now for somebody who's visually impaired?
Sure.
Yeah, what kinds of devices do you use?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have an iPhone and an iPad. They're pretty much the same thing in terms of VoiceOver and how it works. There's a program called VoiceOver. And what that does is it enables someone like me or myself to be able to navigate technology. It reads really everything. There's also an app where it can actually describe pictures to you, like if you're seeing it. It's called Be My Eyes. It can actually describe pictures and video in full detail. It's through AI, actually, where you can have it describe a photo, and then you can even ask it for more detail. It's really amazing. But as far as voiceover, yes, it actually lets you. It lets you be able to, like I said, it lets you be able to use the phone or iPad, whatever it may be, like just like someone who's sighted can see it. So, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Because without that, I would be lost.
So how long has that been around?
Oh my gosh, VoiceOver has been around for quite a while now. I think since I want to say the end of, or maybe around, is it 2007?
Oh, wow, quite a while.
Later 2000s. Yeah, it's been around a long time.
So that must have been early with smartphones.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even predating smartphones. Right? Yeah, because I thought they were more like 2010, something like that. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, and I've heard there are things to help you like identify colors. So, like if you're putting together, an outfit for the day, it can help you pick colors. Yeah.
It can. Yeah. There's a couple apps that can do that. One, which is called Be My Eyes, which I just mentioned. That can absolutely
that does the same thing.
Right. There's also a live person that you can call, and she can, just like you said, she can help you pick out, she can tell you what color something is, or she can describe anything that's in front of you. Like if you want to know what a bag of chips is, what kind it is, you can call, or you can take a photo of it, and it tells you in a matter of seconds what it is.
So it's like a FaceTime call?
Exactly.
Where they, you show them what you're looking at, and very nice. And they have to have good fashion sense, right?
Right.
They wouldn't want me doing that job. I'd be putting things together. It's like,
So that's for the iPhones and iPads, but there's also JAWS, which I mentioned on the computer. It's called Job Access with Speech.
Yes.
And that's a screen reader on the computer, where, as I talked about earlier, it again enables someone like myself to be able to navigate the computer just like you're able to learn JAWS several years ago. I've taught others. There's different shortcut commands for me to even be able to navigate around certain web pages and certain things, online to make it easier as well. So it's great. It really is.
Well, I hope those apps are better than talk to text is, because, jeez. I'll say something and it'll come up with words that I don't even know were words.
Everything is so much more accurate these days now. It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, as I said to so many, it's amazing how technology has advanced so much. Like, it's just awesome with what they're working on now, what they're coming out with, and what they're going to come out with. It's just,
it seems like it was just 6 or 8 months ago they were, talking about AI and it's their concerns about what it was going to do and all of that. And then now it's just like everywhere. Everything's AI now. It's like, and I'm sure they've been working on it for probably decades, but yeah, it just seemed like overnight it's just everywhere. It can be very helpful, but yeah, it frightens me a little bit maybe about, getting into the wrong hands and people using it the wrong way. But also there's another more, a live version, I guess maybe you would say, of an aid for you, and that's your guide dog, Casey.
Exactly, that's true. How can I forget about her?
Yeah.
I do. I have a guide dog. She's a black lab, the most sweetest, friendliest, smartest, you name it. She's very highly certifiedly trained. I got her from Guide Dogs of the Desert, actually up in Whitewater, California, back in 2017. So that's over 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just a truly life-changing experience for me. I had a good friend who was also blind that worked there for a few years before I got my dog. I ended up actually meeting her in 2014. And I had used a cane before I had a dog. But as much as I used it, to be honest, I did not like it at all. And I'm speaking for many others right now. There's a lot of other people that can't stand the cane. I know for sure.
What don't you like about it?
The cane, it's not as, how would I say this? It's not as, how would I,
like
what's the word?
Functional?
Right. It's functional, but a guide dog, I feel like, because a cane, you can be walking and you still bump into something, or your cane will bump it. Or a guide dog, the difference is it takes you around every obstacle.
Gotcha.
Mostly.
Gotcha.
You don't bump into anything. You're just walking like you can see.
Just a much higher level of function, right?
Very much.
Yeah,
so.
there we go.
So Casey, her name's Casey. She's been an amazing, life-changing thing for me. She's helped me so much. And then, of course, when she's not working, she's a regular dog, which is awesome. But when she's working, no, she takes me around all the obstacles. She does what I tell her to on command. It's a really neat thing.
It's amazing to see an actual service dog, and there's a lot of people who have dogs that I'm sure they love dearly, but they're not service dogs really.
Right.
And we'll save that discussion for another time. But really, how is one of the ways is how a dog that is an actual trained and prepared service dog is, how quickly they can switch back and forth from working to being your companion that you love, right?
Yes.
And there's no hesitation. Boom. It's amazing to see.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. Like when I first got her, I just remember the day I first got her, it's an emotional thing, to be honest. I remember I was very emotional when I got her. And now, looking at now, over 7 years later, it's really, it's a true honor to have her. And it's just how the time goes by so fast. Looking back to when I got her until now was really it's a ride for sure. It's a good one.
Can you remember an experience that really touched you, that brought out the emotion? Back especially in those early days.
I do have a funny story, actually.
Yeah.
So I was working her one day in the mall, and this is when I was in training. And while I was in training, she went up to someone at the table like she wanted to have lunch with them, and I was like, "No, Casey, we're not." And the trainer thought she was trying to find a boyfriend at the time. That's how funny it was. I said, "No, we're not trying to find a boyfriend." No, Casey.
Good dog. Oh, that's good. So,
I'm sure there's plenty of other stories, I'm sure, but that's one that stands out.
Well, tell us about that transition from, before and say, before Casey and after Casey.
Oh my gosh. The first word that comes to mind is freedom after I got her.
Yeah.
I just felt so much more independent. Like, as I mentioned, when I work her, I can walk, like, if I can see 20/20, and that's the goal, really.
Yeah.
So when I'm working her, it's amazing because I don't have to worry about bumping into anything, because I have full trust in her, and she just really gets me around anything and everything, all the obstacles, and it's very cool.
And how long did that how long did that take once you got Casey that you felt comfortable? Was that transition fairly quick?
I believe so, yeah. I was in training for 28 days, but then after I got home, I still was adjusting a little bit. But by the time I got out of training, I had done it so many times that it already felt like second nature.
And all that training comes with the guide dog. They provide that. Yeah.
Yes. So you stay on the campus for 28 days. And if you've never had a dog before, for the first couple of days, it's the dog actually, before we even get them, they have about 1.5 to 2 years of training with their puppy raisers, and then they go to the instructors on the guide dog campus. Then when we come in, the instructors assign them to the students, and then for the first 3 days before we get them, we learn all the commands that the dog already knows. Mm-hmm. But then when we finally get the dog, then we're a team, and they just keep reinforcing the commands to the dog and to us. They just keep, reinforcing it to have us just keep doing it repetitively all throughout the training.
Yeah.
So that way when we graduate at the end of the training session, we're experts, we're pros.
Can you teach her new commands? Over the years, have you been able to teach her some of your own, kind of add to her repertoire?
I have. Yeah, I have actually. When she's not working, when she's playing with the toy, for an example, I'll tell her to bring it back. And she does. She gets it, and sure enough, she brings it right back to me. And I can throw it to her, and I'll tell her to do it again, to bring it back, and she does. So that's one command I've taught her.
So with Casey, you're independent. You can head out of the house and go downtown shopping, whatever you need to do on your own?
Yeah, I could do whatever I desire to do, really. I mean, there are things where it might be a little more difficult, where
Sure.
you can choose whether you take them. You don't have to take them everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's up to me wherever I feel like taking her, wherever I decide.
Yeah, that's awesome. And this just popped into my head. Let me circle back real quick to the devices. So when you're out, and well, I guess most everybody uses cards now, but if you were using cash, is there devices to help you, know if you're getting the proper change and nobody's taking advantage of you? Heaven forbid.
There is, but I'm able to tell. I have a strategy where I'm able to tell, like with dollars, and if they tell me what it is, I'm able to fold them a certain way. So that way I would know.
Ah, gotcha.
And coins I can tell as well with no problem. So
Very clever. Very clever. Trust but verify. Right?
Yeah, exactly. The easier the better, right?
Yes. Anything you're wondering, Eric?
No, I'm completely stunned and very intrigued by her story.
Yeah, it's amazing. Anything like going forward, or maybe even a little bit of a recap and then looking into the future, how do you feel about your journey so far? And then are there any goals and aspirations that you're wondering about, maybe musically?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Musically, for sure. My dream has always been to get to Nashville for I can't tell you how many years. I listen to so many artists that I love and admire, and I've met a lot of celebrities as well along the way. Even more so now, I want to get to Nashville more than even a few years ago. It's my dream to play at the Ryman, the Opry. When I listen to these artists who especially do interviews with people or are playing on the Opry stage, and they say something that, they all say, if you believe in your dreams, go get it. Don't let anybody ever tell you no, things like that. And the more I hear it, that's exactly what I think. And it's so inspiring, and it makes me want to get out there even more to do that. So yeah, that's a huge dream for me, is to get to Nashville, of course, play at all those places.
I tell you, over the years, because in my radio career, I did country music most of the time, probably close to 35 to 40 years of that. And I got that question a lot from people, if I wanted to pursue my career in country music, what should I do? And the very first thing out of my mouth before anything else, move to Nashville. There are exceptions to that rule, but they are far and few between. Everybody that makes it in country music, they're in Nashville. There's no two ways about it. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah, you're right. Hopefully I don't upset family that doesn't want you to go away, but it sounds like they're all very supportive, and maybe you can talk a little bit about that. So talk to us about the support you've gotten from family and doctors and your community.
Most definitely. I come from a very or a good background. I had a very good upbringing. My family, my friends have always been very supportive. Have been there for me through thick and thin, and especially a few in particular, including my best friend, who's like my sister. I just named or talked about a while ago. I've known her since I was 5. She's been there, always been there for me, and then along with many others as well. Doctors especially, and I may have had some hard times, but they've done nothing but have been there for me throughout. So it's awesome. I just can't thank them all enough, really.
We touched on the people in school that maybe weren't so kind, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your friend and the folks that were there for you. I'm sure there were plenty of people, and probably really outnumber the other ones that were there for you in little ways along the way, and sometimes some big ways.
So in elementary school, I did have many friends. That's again where I met my best friend, who's like a sister. I met her when, very early on. So after meeting her, that was awesome because we had some of the same mutual friends as well. And there was also a singer at the time whose daughter went to this elementary school with us. I didn't know her, but I know others that did, including my friends at the time, I believe. So she was there. Her dad is a famous singer, or was at least. And so that was nice. And then, moving on to middle school, I would say that was in 6th grade. I had nothing but people just making fun of me. It was it wasn't the greatest. But then I did have friends, like I said, who were there for me. There were a limited amount, but I did have friends that say, "Oh, don't listen to them. They're just." I did have, like, people used to throw things at me. They used to make fun of my name. They used to say they didn't do it when they did. Just the usual kid stuff,
Yep.
I
think Eric and I can relate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I know that, and I maybe I've told them here because I retell stories quite a bit. I'm old, all right, but there were times when people were looking out for me and I didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's
you
nice.
hear the stories later. You remember when you got tripped coming across the quad, and I'm like, I don't know. People would trip over my crutches all the time. And then my buddy would say, "Oh, I kicked his ass." I'm like, okay, I didn't ask you to do that, but thanks for watching out for me. So those things are nice to know that there are people that they're looking out for you.
I did. I did have some teachers though along the way that were very sympathetic, and especially in my senior year, I had a teacher who just loved my singing, and he was just kind of ignoring everyone else and said, you go on and do this. This is your thing. And the wrestling coach, where I went to Palm Desert High, the high school I went to, he was very impressed at the time. So those are 2 teachers, to name a few.
Yeah. Awesome.
Later on, I did have some producers musically, a producer who helped me make this record. He and this other co-producer I worked with, those 2 are very special to me as well. My co-producer helped me write, or not me. I didn't write them, but I collaborated with them on the melody and things like that for this record. So my co-producer actually wrote the lyrics for the movie, for the song that I sing in the movie, and then my producer, the other person involved, he wrote a majority of the music and the lyrics for this record.
Well, Rochelle, there's no shame in that. There's plenty of examples in the sighted community where people aren't writing their own thing. So don't let that hold you back.
Oh no,
you got the important tool. The voice.
Yeah, thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But no, I just can't thank everyone enough who's been there and is very supportive. So it's a real honor.
And do you have a message for, people that are kind of coming up, the kids that are coming up, maybe sharing your experience, and any words of wisdom for them?
It's funny. I hear so many artists get asked this question, like, what would you tell yourself? But my answer is similar. Just, don't let anyone ever tell you no. Just keep doing it. If you have a dream, chase after it. Listen, do things that make you feel inspired, and just the sky's the limit, really.
Yeah. Plenty of really wonderful examples of people that have achieved some incredible things in the music business that weren't cited. So, you have some inspiration there.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else, Eric, that we might have missed?
I was just thinking, me and Rochelle have a lot in common, more than we realize. Like Rochelle, people don't really make fun of me as much, but to this day, they're always telling me no, and they intend to underestimate me, which gives me even more reason to do it.
Wow. Yeah, no, it can be tough. It really can be. You just gotta have faith and have hope and just keep going.
Yeah.
As hard as it.
Don't listen to the doubters, right?
Right. The other thing I was going to say as well is I'm currently working besides music. Music, of course, is my number one passion. I love it amazingly. But besides that, I am working right now as an independent contractor for a company out of Denver, where I am a customer satisfaction rep and conducting surveys for different financial institutions, for people who have visited their banks or credit unions recently. So I've been doing that for over 2 years. And again, I do use JAWS on the computer, and kind of like a call center setting, because I have a headset where I'm able to hear or function by hearing the caller in one ear and the JAWS, which is a screen reader, in the other ear. So it works out.
Yeah, interesting.
Quite an experience.
Yeah.
Just like you, Rochelle, I love singing. I've been singing since I was 5 years old. And in my adult years, I do a lot of karaoke and duets with my fiance who has autism.
Uh-huh. Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, that's always been kind of a dream of mine. But, alas, I can't sing. So, maybe a little. I don't think I'm horrible, but yeah. I think that's maybe why I got into radio. That was my way of, just kind of being my performance, dreams, or acted out that way.
Wow.
I have somewhat of a dream that I've always wanted to sing the national anthem, but in my own version. Like, let me give you a small preview of what it would be like me if I had the chance. I'd be like, oh, Jose, I'm asking, can you see by the,
Bravo.
Very nice. Very nice. So, we talked about you, Rochelle, singing the national anthem. Did we mention that you sang it at the Giants?
I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah.
I did. I got to sing the national anthem for the San Francisco Giants back in early 2000s. That was an amazing, amazing honor. That was an event that I'll never forget. It was great. I was so confident. I remember talking to the people before I went out to actually do it. I was talking to them how I was in the process of recording an album or recording a song for a movie. And then when I went out there to do it, to sing the anthem, I just brought the house down. It was, oh my gosh. It was in front of 42,000 people.
Wow.
And my eye doctors were there, and my eye doctor was there along with his group of people. His staff, about 10 people from the office.
Tell us a little bit more about that, because you didn't know they were going to be there, right? That was a surprise?
I'm not quite, I don't recall.
You don't recall that? That's what my sources tell me.
Okay. Maybe it was. You remember better than I. It was so long ago. But they were so proud of me. It was,
sure.
It was an unbelievable experience, really.
So how were the nerves going out there? Was that the biggest audience at that time that you had ever sung in front of?
That's the biggest audience I've ever sung for. Yeah. The nerves were there, but as I mentioned, I felt so confident, and I rehearsed it a few times before and everything. Mm-hmm. So I was ready to go. I went out there and just brought the house down.
And that's the power of a dream.
Oh yeah.
People don't, I think, realize that when you have a dream, even if there's fear and the apprehension about going out and doing something like that, you do it. It somehow instills you with some confidence to go out and do those things. So,
absolutely.
Congratulations. That is awesome. How did that come about? How did you get put together with the Giants organization? And
So I recorded the national anthem. I had a recording of it that we actually sent out to some baseball teams.
Okay.
I remember it like yesterday. We had sent it out. The next day, got a phone call. They heard the recording, and it was a CD at the time. So they listened to the CD, and they said, yes, we want you to sing the anthem. So within 24 hours, that all happened. I remember, like yesterday.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations. That is awesome. Well, we've heard Eric now, so I think we're going to give you an opportunity to share your gift with us, if you don't mind. You know, are you going to sing the national anthem or something else?
No, I had something else in mind.
Good.
I was going to say as well, I did sing the national anthem before the Giants. I sung it at, it was called Spotlight 29 at the time. Or I guess Spotlight 29 Casino.
Yeah.
So I did sing it there in a boxing match back in, again, right before the Giants, about a year before it. And it was actually televised, and I brought the house down there as well. The other thing is, another major thing, I sung, it wasn't the anthem, but I did sing, I had a few songs. I had a set that I did for Joel Osteen's sister back in 2014, I believe. And I got to meet Joel Osteen's sister. They thought I was fantastic. And that was an event. It was a pretty good sized event, actually.
Yeah, like a private event, but big.
Yeah, exactly. So that was amazing. I actually got to experience, like, I was playing at Staples Center. I was using in-ear monitors, and I had a person telling me to, move to the right or move to the left. That was an amazing experience because I got to really experience what it's like to be up there on one of those big stages with directions from someone.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have all the pieces put in place, all these different experiences now. Time to shine, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, from Walk and Roll Live, you have all of our prayers and thoughts and, and well wishes, our fingers and eyes and everything are crossed.
Thank you so much. And I just want to add, I'm not just speaking for me. There's many blind, or many people that are blind and have different walks of life and go through these things, including my best friend, who's like a sister to me. She's had many stories as well, but just, again, the sky's the limit, and we're all able, and we just gotta get out there, and keep going. Never give up.
Very nice, Rochelle. Thank you. Yeah, that's right. Take a chance. If you're an employer out there and somebody comes through the door and they're visually impaired, listen to what their skills and their abilities are and see if they would be an asset for you. So, yeah, keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Give everybody a chance is what I'm kind of saying here. We're all the same, and everybody needs a fair opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, is it time? Can you maybe take us out with a song?
I sure can.
All right. Everybody, Rochelle Weissman on the Walk and Roll Live show.
I'll spread my wings and I'll learn how to fly. I'll do what it takes till I touch the sky. And I make a wish, take a chance, make a change, and break away out of the darkness and into the sun. But I won't forget all the ones that I love. I gotta take a risk, take a chance, make a change, and break away, break away, break away.
Are you ready to walk and roll into a world of inspiration and empowerment? Introducing Walk and Roll Live, the podcast that celebrates independence, resilience, and the human spirit. Join us as we journey with incredible guests who share their stories of triumph over adversity, breaking barriers, and embracing life to the fullest. Get ready to be inspired, uplifted, and motivated to conquer any challenge. Subscribe now and join the movement. Walk and Roll Live. Life limitless.
Welcome to Walk and Roll Live with Doug Vincent and Eric Aguilar and Mr. Happy for your life and the Super. Welcome to Walk and
Welcome back, folks, to Walk and Roll Live. I'm here with my buddy Doug.
Hey, thanks for listening today. Want to thank Rochelle for coming on and sharing so much about her life's experience and where she's going now and the dreams that she has now. So we wish her the very best. Hey, I put something together because, we get emails from time to time. We're always asking for that, and we get some from time to time. So I put a little something together.
we get letters. We get letters. Oh, so many letters, and it's time to share them with you.
Oh, there you have it. So, we get letters. So I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but, somebody wrote a letter, had some kind things to say. And one of the things they asked about was just about our name, Walk and Roll Live, and kind of where that came from and what it means. And I said, well, I just wanted to represent, we represent all disabilities here, right? We want to talk about them all. And, we've got a long way to go. I know we've touched on quite a few, but still many different disabilities that we want to give somebody an opportunity to tell that story. So our listening audience at large kind of gets a little better understanding. So that's kind of the deal with Walk and Roll. Some people are rolling and it's more presentable, not presentable, but it presents, so you can see the disability clearly. But there's lots of people out there that don't have a disability that you can see necessarily. So that kind of covers the walk. So there are people walking that may not, you may not see it, but they definitely have a disability. And there's probably really, if we could total them all up, probably more of that category, those unseen, so, just keep that in mind as you see. And I've had to do this for myself over the years. I'm not telling you to do anything I haven't had to check myself. But, when you see people with a handicap placard and they're parking in those spots, doesn't necessarily mean that they don't deserve that spot in, everybody's mind. So just keep that in mind. So wanted to share that. So we've got some new resources up on the resource page, a new event on the events page. I think I talked to Erica about it last week. On June 15th, Rancho Cucamonga is having their first adaptive sports fair. It's going to be at the Rancho Cucamonga Sports Center, which is on Rochester across from the Quake Stadium there in Rancho Cucamonga. So we're going to go Walk and Roll Live, and we're going to accost people and interview them and kind of share the story of what's going on that day. All right. Anything else? What do you got going on?
All right, game on. Next week, I'll be continuing my series of disaster preparedness with Loma Linda possibilities. But let me tell you a little bit about disasters. Disasters are categorized into three categories. Some are natural, some can be technological, and believe it or not, folks, accidental. Now, if you're interested in hearing about disaster preparedness, my next lectures are June 11th, August 13th, and November 12th at from 5:30 to 6:30 on Zoom. This will be hosted by Loma Linda Possibilities. If you're interested in signing up, go on teampossibilities.org. Decide what session you want to attend. And you can also attend as either a Possibilities member or a caregiver. I hope to see you there, folks.
Awesome. And teampossibilities.org is on our website, on our resources page. So if that's easier for you, you can find that link there. And also on our events page, you can find out more information about the Rancho Cucamonga Adaptive Sports Festival. I put a flyer up there. I don't think the flyer doesn't have a whole lot of information, but there are numbers you can call. And if you have questions about that, want to get involved either as a vendor or a participant, you can do that. Next week, we have Yi Eubanks, a special education teacher that I know, and she's going to come on and talk to us about that, all the ins and outs and what that provides for students and, and how they can avail themselves of those services, be an advocate for their child to be mainstreamed into school and get that experience. All right. So thank you for listening to Walk and Roll Live. I'm your host, Doug Vincent, with Eric Aguilar from the Aguilar Professional Training Studio. This has been Walk and Roll Live, Disability Stories, Life Limitless.
Walk and roll life. Life's the best. Walk and roll life. Life limitless. The struggle's real. Gotta keep it tight, disabled, but defined by the fight. We're unstoppable, breaking through the walls and the limitations into standing tall. The world may try to bring us down, but we rise up, rocking with the ground. We're warriors, fearless in our stride. Together we stand side by side, no boundaries. We're living life our way, we're breaking barriers every single day. With every step, we're breaking the mold, shining bright, the story yet untold.